السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Does anyone remember where we finished last time? Ayat? Who said a kursi? Oh, thank you very much. Okay. So we finished Ayat al-Kursi, which is ayah number 255. And tonight it means we are going to start off from ayah number, anybody knows? We finished 255. It means 256, right? That means we have 30 ayah only to finish the entire Surah Al-Baqarah. How's that? Only 30 ayah to finish the longest surah in the Quran. Okay? The ayah we are going to start with tonight is ayah number 256. It starts off by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us a very important principle. A principle that we call the Islam's universal principle. La ikraha fi din. Which means no one should pressure anyone to change his religion or to accept faith by force or under the threat of force. You understand? This also means that you cannot try to use people's needs to pressure them to accept the deen. Everybody's faith has to be based on free choice. It has to be based on free choice, meaning that people who want to believe in Allah, they believe based on their own understanding, their own free will, free choice, right? Can anyone force you to eat food that you don't want to?
No.
Okay. Can anyone force you to do activities that you don't want to?
No.
You have to have your own choice, right? What is most important choice that people have? Is the choice of their faith, right? So people need to choose their faith based on knowledge. Now, here is something to consider. So people who are old and adults, they can have a choice because they are old, right? What about children? Do children choose their faith or learn their faith? Learn their faith. Where do they learn it from? From their parents, right? And then their parents would send them, like you are now sent to the masjid to learn your faith further, right? Is this by force or is this by choice? It is somewhat, because parents have certain authority with children. Children are required to obey their parents, but more than the obedience of parents is the obedience to Allah, right? So Allah tells us to listen to our parents, we listen to our parents. So long as they do not tell us to disobey Allah, right? So all of us at young age, we listen to our parents, we obey our parents, and we study and learn our deen at home and in the masjid. Is that clear? Okay. So, la ikraha fi din, there is no compulsion in religion. There will be and there shall never be. Compulsion comes from compel. Compel means to enforce or to force someone, okay? To push someone against their will to believe in a certain way or to not believe in a certain way, okay? So when Allah says there shall be no compulsion in religion, He means we should never force anyone, nor should we accept anyone to force us to accept their idea of what the deen is, what Allah is, who Allah is, who the messenger is. Okay? طيب. How about people who go and offer help to the refugees, the refugee camps? Have you heard about refugee camps?
Yeah. No.
You've not heard about refugee camps? Okay. Where are you from?
Jordan.
Jordan. In Jordan, there are refugee camps for Syrians who have been driven out of their homes because of the war in Syria. Have you heard about this? Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. So, refugee camps are places where people, under the conditions of war, leave their normal homes and they are forced to leave their schools and their community to run away from war. So some others help them set up tents and places which we call refugee camps. Those refugee camps do not have the facilities that normally we have at home. Running water, right? Bathrooms, everything is missing. So organizations sometimes come to help those refugees. Those are called humanitarian organizations, relief organizations. They offer service for anybody because they are humans like us. Some of the humanitarian organizations or relief organizations, unfortunately, they manipulate, they take advantage of, they use the circumstances of the refugees to tell them, here is the food you want, the water you want, and this, but here is a Bible, or here is a Quran, or here is whatever book they believe in. Is this right? Is it right that people under stress of bad circumstances, that they are being given a plate of food or a bottle of water with the condition that they also accept a religious book? Is this something right? Is this right? Let me agree that it is a bit confusing question for you. Okay? Yes.
Yes.
Huh?
It's confusing.
It is confusing. Yes, I understand. Thank you. So let me clear it some bit. Let us say we, this group, we in this area in Virginia are subject to war circumstances, God forbid. Then we are all moved to Louisiana in a refugee camp. Is it right for a church or synagogue or any religious institution to come and give us food and make it a condition that we must accept their faith? Is this right?
No.
You feel like it is right?
No.
You understand now? Is it still confusing? Okay, so it is now clear. This is what the ayah is calling compulsion in religion. To force you in return for food or water or health care that you change your religion. That's inappropriate, right? Okay, so the ayah says don't do it and don't accept anyone to do it to you. Is this clear? Okay, let's move on. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains the reason. The reason is قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. Truth is clear from falsehood. Do you know what truth is?
Yes.
Truth is the word of Allah. The facts and knowledge we know about Allah is referred to as truth. The facts that we know about the word of Allah is called truth, right? The facts that the Prophet ﷺ tell us about, we are also call it truth. So truth is clear from what is the opposite of truth? False, right? So the ayah is saying, since truth is clear from what is false, you know your faith and everybody knows their faith, right? Neither you should change somebody's faith by force, nor should they change your faith by force. The example we mentioned was not really by force, it was by using your need. This is called manipulation. Do you know what manipulation is? No, you don't. So let me explain manipulation means what. Manipulation is when I know that you want something, right? And then I use my knowledge of what you want to make you do what I want. This is called manipulation. Let us say, for example, you want to join the team in the school, right? And I know that you could do something that I want from you. So I tell you, if you want to join the team, do what I am telling you. This is called manipulation. Unless it is a condition to join the team that applies to everyone. Okay? So if it is a condition for everybody to join the team, like your health, your fitness, your knowledge, your ability, your practice, those are normal conditions, right? But if somebody wants you to do something special to join the team which you qualify for, then that becomes or is labeled as manipulation, okay? To make you do what he wants for you to get what you want, okay? This is manipulation. So this is prohibited also as a way of turning people to one religion or another. Then the ayah goes on to say, he who rejects the worship of idols or the worship of any false god and believes in Allah, those are the ones who are holding to the robe of Allah in a very proper place. Let me explain this again. What is the entry statement that we call shahada in Islam? When you say ashhadu eh? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. So it's two parts. In the first part we say la ilaha, there is no God, right? In the second part we say except Allah. So there is a part where you negate anyone to be God, and the second part you say only Allah is God, right? So the first part refers to is that you deny the worship of anyone or any false god or anyone other than Allah. The second part is that you believe in Allah. So to believe in Allah means I refuse to worship anyone other than Allah. Is this clear? I need somebody to explain it to me now. Anyone understood? You said it's understood. So, should I repeat it again? Okay, I will repeat it. So, if somebody wants to swim, right? Can he swim in the ocean before learning in a swimming pool?
No.
Right? Can't. Can someone swim in dirty water and be healthy? Okay. Likewise, if you want to accept Allah as your only God, that means you accept no God but Him. Is this clear? Let us say, could a class like third grade, let us say third grade, fourth grade, a class is a group of students who are studying same subjects with same teachers, right? Now, could a whole class get 100%? Some may, right? And some others will get less than 100%, right? So every student will get up to the level that they can, right? People are not all going to believe in the right religion. Some people will worship idols. Some people will worship the sun or the moon or some plants, right? Some people worship animals. Can you believe this? Some people worship animals. So, Muslims worship whom? Could a Muslim worship Allah and an animal?
No.
Only one can be God, which is Allah, right? All the rest, the Quran gives them a name. What is the name? It is called Taghut. Any God that people claim to be God and worship him or her or it, right? Other than Allah, it is called Taghut. I wanted to say this word. Taghut. Taghut. So what is Taghut? Anything that is worshipped other than Allah. No matter how many followers worship that God, okay, there is someone that even Muslims worship and it is not God. And it is not right, of course. I know this is going to be difficult for you to understand, but I want to drill it because it's very important. And I'm talking about Muslims, young and old, adults and children, some parents and some children. You see how serious this is? Can you believe that there is a Muslim who worships anyone other than Allah?
No.
We should never accept this because it's not acceptable to Allah, right? But let me explain this to you. When Allah calls me for prayer, right? Should I answer and go to pray or should I put it off? I should answer. I should go to pray, right? When Ramadan comes, should we fast or should we play around? Fast, because Allah expects us to fast, right? If I have the means and the money and the resources to make Hajj and Hajj time comes, should I make Hajj or should I not? I should make Hajj, right? Likewise, when Allah tells me go right and I say it is boring, I want to go left, then am I worshipping Allah or am I worshipping my own desires? Huh? Yes. When you obey your desire and refuse to obey Allah, this is wrong. You understand? So, whatever Allah tells me to do, I have to do it. And whenever He assigns me a time to do it, I have to do it on time. Otherwise, I am worshipping myself. And this is the worship I am trying to let you know that is most serious, because many people do that and they don't even feel they are doing anything wrong. So let me give you another example that will clear the issue here. If your mom or dad tells you, I want you to do this now, but a friend or a brother or sister comes to tell you, no, now go tell your mom I will do it later. Is this good or bad? Bad, right? Why? Because I am following what I like, right? And I am not doing what my mom or dad like, right? Who's more important, Allah or mom and dad? Right? We said a few minutes ago that when Allah tells me to do something, my parents cannot tell me stop doing that. Right? Because Allah is more important, right? Likewise, if my mom and dad are more important than myself or my desire or what I like, then I should obey my mom and dad and not obey my own self. Right? I want you to give me examples of things that you have seen kids do that show a child who is worshipping his own likes and is not paying attention to what Allah orders him or to what parents order him. Yes. Yes, a person who takes his mom's credit card or his dad's credit card, definitely he described it right. He said he stole his mom's credit card. Stealing is halal or haram? Haram. So he's committing something major. This is a major awful sin. So she is giving an example that here is a sister who is young and her older sister is not praying, so she's advising her because they are sisters, they love each other, right? You definitely love her, right? But the older sister is not listening. Is this right? No. Even an older sister or older brother, when you tell him Allah says this is what we need to do, all of us, should they listen or should they not? They should listen. Okay? So Allah is telling us it is very important that we listen to Allah. Why is it important that we listen to Allah? Yes. Because Allah is one and He is one who has our future in His hands. Everything about our future is in the hands of whom? Allah. Yes. So that if we obey Allah, He protects us from hellfire. More importantly, if you love Allah, do you obey Him or do you disobey Him? Obey Him. If you love your mom and dad, do you obey them or disobey them? How about if you love your mom and dad, but you also love your friends, and your friends are telling you to do something, you obey both your parents and your friends? What if your parents are telling you this is what you do now, and your friends are saying this is what you do now? Which one do you obey? Parents, right? Okay, so the ayah wants us to understand our priority. The priority list is to believe in Allah and to obey Allah. Next to Allah, we obey the Prophet ﷺ and we follow his orders, right? Number 3, we love our parents, respect our parents, and we obey our parents. This is the list, right? So whenever there is a competition, right? Contradiction, or my mom is saying one thing and it is time for my prayer and I want to pray Jama'ah, and mom is saying, help me with this and then go to pray. Should I help her or should I go to pray? I should help her and then go to pray. Why? Because both are important, thank you. But only when, if there is time for prayer, but if it is the last minute for prayer, right? Then I should pray and then do for mom what she's asking me. But if there is time, then I should obey my mom and then do the prayer. Let us say I am praying the sunnah. You know what the sunnah is? Yeah. The voluntary prayer that we do besides al-fara'id. Al-fard, fajr, dhuhr, asr, maghrib, isha. Beyond that, all of the rest is called sunnah, right? When you are praying sunnah and your mom calls you, do you leave the prayer of the sunnah and go to your mom, or you continue the prayer? No, it depends. It depends. Listen. I'm giving you these questions because these are real questions that I know we face in real life. Don't we? We face those questions. So let us deal with them. If your mom is saying, where is he? Ibrahim, catch your brother Muhammad. Your brother Muhammad is close to the balcony. We don't want him. Then should Ibrahim leave the sunnah and save his brother? Yes. Now, there is something urgent, right? Right? But if mom is saying, Muhammad, could you give me a cup? Should he leave the sunnah or should he not leave the sunnah?
Don't.
Then how does he tell his mom that he's praying? How would she know? She doesn't see him. She's calling from the other room. Yes. Raise your voice. Thank you very much. So if you are reading Quran, read loud, even if it is silence prayer, right? If you are making motion, say Allahu Akbar, loud voice, so that your mom would hear that you are praying. Clear? But if there is something urgent, I leave the prayer and save my brother or my sister from burning themselves in the stove or jumping from the window or anything serious. Yes. Yes, if there is something scary or dangerous happening, like, God forbid, fire in the house, right? Then you should leave, even if it is the fard prayer. Because saving your life will allow you to make up the prayer. But if your life is put at risk, then you are going to hurt yourself, right? So when there is danger, you leave the fard or the sunnah. Okay? But when there is no danger, then you listen to your mom if you're praying the sunnah. Is this clear? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is saying that the truth is clear from what is false, right? And he tells us that the priority is that if you refuse to worship anyone but Allah and worship Allah, you have held on to the strongest bond on the rope. Let me explain that bond and the rope concept. Okay? Allah in the Quran tells us in more than one place that we should hold on to the robe of Allah. What is the robe of Allah? Does Allah have a robe hanging from heaven? In fact, He does.
What?
In fact, He does, yes. Invisible, but it is visible, tangible, and we have it every day. Let me tell you what it is. Let me tell you what it is. The Prophet ﷺ, in one of his ahadith, he says about the Quran, he says, it is the robe of Allah. Al-Quran is the robe of Allah. He is lowering it down for us to save us, as if you are about to drown and then a helicopter pilot sends down a rope for you to hang on to, so that even if your ship drowns, you are saved. Right? So this rope that is between us and Allah is the Quran itself. Yes.
Or like, isn't it like prayer? Is like the key of Jannah?
The prayer is the basic key for Jannah. Okay?
The rope too?
Yes. Yes. Everything that connects us to Allah can be described as a robe. But the robe that has everything is the Quran. The Quran has prayer, the Quran has fasting, the Quran has zakah, the Quran has the charity, the sadaqah. Everything good is in the Quran. Yes, Yunus. If I die, death outside of my control. Not if I die any death. Like if I see somebody shooting people, should I go run in front of him? Huh? No wise person would do that. If I see fire in a building, should I run into the building or away from the building? So, death that Baba is talking about is when you don't have any control, you can do nothing. Right? But if you could protect yourself, we all should protect ourselves. Right? Allah tells us, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. Do not put yourself or expose yourself to dangers that can hurt you. Okay? Or destroy you or kill you. Clear? Yunus? Understood now? Okay. So, yes. This is a very good question. Ismail is asking, if you go to the masjid and do a lot of good things, but you are behaving or misbehaving badly, do you still could go to Jannah? Well, first of all, children are forgiven for their mistakes. Allah automatically keeps forgiving children for mistakes. Okay? Why? Because children are still learning. They are still young. They still are developing their character, their personality, their understanding. So Allah always forgives children. So anyone who dies as a child will be completely forgiven and he will go to paradise automatically. Inshallah. Okay? But if you do not learn as a child, it will be difficult for you to learn when you grow old. So we have to use this period of total forgiveness so that when we become adults, we have better control over ourselves. The age when you reach the age of what you do not know, but it is called puberty, which is the age of maturity. When you mature, when you grow old, mom will tell you when, dad will tell you when. It is when you reach the age of 12 or 13 or 14 in some cases. It depends and it differs from one person to another. Okay? So one day, but the time for learning and training yourself is when you are young. Because when you learn when you are young, all of your mistakes during that period is forgiven. But if you do not learn, it will be difficult for you to learn and get training when you get very old. So the Prophet ﷺ tells us, for example, train your children to start praying at the age of 7. So every child should start learning prayer at the age of 7. How to make proper wudu, how to make proper prayer, how to get ready for the prayer, how to pray properly, not to run, not to gig, not to push, not to giggle with your friends, not to run, not to look around as you pray. You start training by the age of 7. Girls should also start to learn to wear their hijab and pray, and boys and girls should start learning how to clean themselves well, how to make tahara to be ready for wudu and for prayer. Because if you do not learn by the age of 7, then when do you start learning? It becomes very old. Okay? Yes. Yeah, his mom is saying something wise. She is telling him, you cannot use all your life for playing. There has to be time for learning your deen, learning Islam, learning the Quran. There has to be time to listen to your mom and learn from her wisdom, right? To listen to your dad, right? There has to be time to read stories of the prophets, stories of the companions, right? To memorize some ayat from the Quran, right? So if we spend all the time playing, then our life will be lost. Okay? So a Muslim person, child or old, must divide their time into 4 sections. Section completely for Allah, a section completely for himself, a section completely for his guests and friends, right? And a section for other people and for other tasks so that he can develop skills and knowledge and information. So, yes, go ahead. Allah is always watching over all of us, okay? And He is always recording our bad deeds and good deeds, right? But for the children, before they reach the age of responsibility, they are forgiven. Why? Because they are still learning, so Allah wants to give them an extended chance. So this is a period of training yourself to have discipline. Do you know what discipline is? Discipline is your consistency in doing what you have to do. That you do what you have to do and you become disciplined, which means you do it on time, you do it all the time, and you do it as good as you should. Okay? So, when do we learn? We learn when we are young. Do we stop learning when we grow older? No. Seeking knowledge is a lifelong mission from birth to death. Okay? So, as long as you are here, you have to keep learning. Everything something new. Yes. She's advising you well. His mom is saying, if you do not learn when you are young, when you grow old, you will not be able to have a good job. You may end up being homeless, have no money. You cannot raise family, right? When you go home, tell mom, thank you for your advice. Very good, okay? Yes. What dad is saying is, if you do not listen to your mom and dad, and you grow old, and you continue not to listen to their advice, and they are advising you to do what is right, then where will you go? You will go in the wrong direction, right? What is the right direction? Paradise. What is the wrong direction? Hellfire. So that's why we listen to our mom and dad, because they love us the most. After Allah, no one loves us as much as Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no one loves us as much as our parents. And this will continue to be true until we die. Nobody would ever love you on earth more than your mom and your dad. Okay? We spoke about holding on to the robe of Allah. You remember? And we said that the robe of Allah is what? Anybody remembers? The Quran, right? Thank you very much. Who said the Quran? You said the Quran. Ibrahim, what is the robe of Allah? The Quran. Very good. Yunus, what is the robe of Allah? Okay. How do we hold on to the Quran? What does it mean? It means that the Quran is what saves us, right? If we follow the Quran, if we learn the Quran, it will guide us to paradise. How about if we don't? Then what happens? We will be worshipping ourselves. Remember, we said that self-worship is the worst thing one could fall in. Even Muslims could fall in this. Okay? Like, it's obvious, it's clear, when somebody worships an idol, like a stone idol, that this is doom, this is shirk, right? But self-worship is a form of shirk. When I only do, and I want you to hear me clearly here, when I only do things that are fun or pleasant, then I will be indulged or engaged in self-worship. I am worshipping myself. What I define as fun, I will do. What I define as boring or difficult, I will refuse to do. If I get used to this habit when I am young, it will make my life difficult to obey Allah and to obey the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? So, he who holds on to the robe of Allah, he will have saved himself. Right? As we gave the example, a helicopter is throwing a rope for you and your ship is drowning. Do you hold on to the rope or do you go down with the ship? Huh? To hold on to the rope if you want to save your life, right? So Allah sent us the Quran to hold on to it very strongly, because if you let loose, you fall. So if your relationship with the Quran is weak, do you get saved or do you get dropped? You fall, right? But if you hold strongly to the Quran, then you are sure to be saved. Is that clear? Okay. So next ayah number 257, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the protector the caretaker of those who believe. Do we believe? Do we believe? I can't hear everybody here. Then who is our protector? If Allah is your protector, would you fear anyone else? If Allah is your protector, could anyone hurt you? If Allah is taking care of you, would you need anyone else? If Allah is the one who gives you everything, do you need anyone else? Huh? Your mom herself is a gift from Allah. Right, Yunus? Yeah, explain it, Yunus. Tell him. Huh? We obey our parents because Allah says we must obey our parents, right? Okay? Our parents help us because Allah tells them to help us. Is that clear? Okay. So, since Allah has given us the gift of parents, when somebody gives you a gift, do you take care of it or do you not? Since Allah gives us the gift of children, do we take care of them or ignore them? Take care of our children, right? If Allah gives us the gift of our brothers and sisters, should we take care of them or hurt them? Should take care of them, should protect them, right? So Allah protects us directly and indirectly. Allah protects us directly and indirectly. He protects us by His mercy and by the guidance He gives us, and He protects us by each other. So we become protection for each other. So parents protect children. Children can protect each other. Older siblings protect younger siblings. Is that correct? Right? So here, ayah number 257, Allah is the protector of everyone, especially the believers. How does He protect us? The ayah says, He gets them out of darkness into the light. If we turn off the light in this room, could we be walking as if there were light? No, we couldn't, because it's dark. You could trip in the carpet, right? You could trip in somebody's shoes on the way, right? But when it is lit and the light is on, could anybody be confused about how he walks out or in? No. It's clear. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He is the one who takes us out of the darkness into the light. So at night, is it dark or is it lit? Dark. Then who brings the daylight? Allah, right? When it is daylight, we go to school, we go to our business, right? Or we go to picnic if we are in vacation, right? So who gives us the daylight? Allah. Likewise, Allah is the one who guides us to the light of the Quran. The light of the Quran is given to us by whom? By Allah. So Allah is the one who moves us from the darkness of not knowing anything into the light of knowledge. Yes. No, Nur here means the guidance of Allah. Okay? So the ayah is saying Allah, through the guidance He gave us in the Quran, He moves us from ignorance to knowledge, from the darkness to the light. But the kafirin, right, they take each other from the light to the darkness, right? From knowledge to ignorance, okay? From the guidance of Allah to follow the shaitan. So those who disbelieve, their leaders are the taghut. We said that taghut is anyone being obeyed or worshipped when it is obedience is disobedience to Allah. Okay? They get people out of the nur to the darkness. And then it says, أولئك أصحاب النار. Could you read it, Yunus? أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. Those are the companions of hellfire. Okay? Those are the people of hellfire. Those who leave the light of Islam, the guidance of the Quran, and follow their whims or desire, or follow the shaitan, or follow each other. Okay? Yes. We are supposed to finish all the Quran as soon as we can. Quickly finish all we can. Why? Because it is the food for our spirit. We spoke about this before, that as much as the body needs food, the spirit, right? Ruh has to have its own food. What is the food for the spirit? It is the guidance of Allah, the Quran. Is this clear? It is the guidance of Allah, which is the Quran. You know Prophet Ibrahim, right? Ibrahim, I want you to listen to this. Prophet Ibrahim was guiding people to worship whom? Allah. But his community was a community that used to manufacture and make idols and worship idols. Right? And the king of the community was very mad at Ibrahim because he is telling the community that their only God is Allah. Right? And he was telling them, do not worship the idols. They are wrong. They are not gods. They cannot help you. They cannot benefit you. They cannot protect you. They cannot provide for you. So the king was very mad. So he called on Ibrahim and he said, come here. I want you to tell me, who is this God that you're talking about? You say that you have a God other than our gods, the idols, right? He said, of course. Allah is my God and your God. Then the king told him, give me evidence, give me proof, explain this to me. So Ibrahim tells him, Allah brings the dead from the living and the living from the dead. So the king said, I can do the same. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? That the king would make somebody dead alive? Can a king do that? But can he make somebody living dead? Yes, he can kill him, right? So Ibrahim told him, my Lord Allah, brings the dead to life, right? The king says, I can do the same. Ibrahim tells him, go ahead, show me. So the king calls on one of his soldiers and he tells him, get me 2 prisoners. So he got him 2 prisoners and the king ordered one of them to be killed, right? So the soldier killed one person and the king said, let him live, don't kill him. And this is how the king thinks that he has given life to one person. So Ibrahim found that the king is really stupid because he did not give anybody any life, right? Did he give him life? He just let him live, right? So Ibrahim brought him another thing. He tells him, listen, my God brings the sun from the east. Could you let the sun rise from the west? Do you think that the king was able to do that? Could the king bring the sun to rise from the west? He couldn't, right? So what happened? The king was dumbfounded. He was shocked. Dumbfounded means he was too shocked to do anything because Ibrahim brought him something he could never do. Okay? So he was struck. He was shocked. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that story in ayah number 258. Have you not seen to the one who argued with Ibrahim regarding his Lord? As Ibrahim said, my Lord is the one who gives life and puts to death. Then the king says, I also give life and put to death. Then Ibrahim says, my God brings the sun to rise from the east. Could you make it rise from the west? And the king was dumbfounded, which means he could not speak. He became speechless. Okay? Was the king defeated or was he victorious? He was defeated, right? Was Ibrahim good in his argument or was he bad? He was very good, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here concludes and says, Allah does not guide the wrongdoers, the ones who are not just. If you are not just, Allah will not help you. If you do injustice, Allah will not help you. Is this clear? Okay. I think we have 5 minutes to get ready for the prayer. And this session will be our last until the first one will start after Ramadan. We have 2 weeks until Ramadan, but next week I am having the fasting seminar for everybody. So I want you kids to attend the Ramadan fasting so that you can learn the rules about fasting. So you attend it with your family. It will be upstairs in the court. This will be next Sunday. Okay, inshallah. So the following Sunday will be the first night for Taraweeh. Okay? So we have 2 weeks till Ramadan. Who's ready for Ramadan? Everybody's ready? Everybody's happy? Ask Allah to help us fast Ramadan. Say Ameen. Allahumma a'inna ala Ramadan. Jazakumullah khairan. Inshallah, we'll see you in this sessions, inshallah, right after Ramadan. But next week, inshallah, we'll see you for the fasting seminar. Jazakumullah khair.